There is a planet in our solar system so massive, so violent, so impossibly beautiful, that scientists who have studied it for decades still can't fully explain it. It has a storm at its north pole, perfectly shaped like a hexagon, that has been raging for at least 40 years. Nobody knows why it's a hexagon. Nobody. It has a moon that rains liquid methane. Another moon that scientists believe may harbor life right now. And its rings, the most iconic image in all of astronomy, are disappearing. This is Saturn. And by the end of this video, you will never look at the night sky the same way again. Let's start with the basics, but I promise you nothing about Saturn is basic. Saturn is the sixth planet from the Sun. It sits about 886 million miles away from us, so far that sunlight takes over an hour to reach it. Now here's where it gets wild. Saturn is so large that 764 Earths could fit inside it. Let that sink in. 764 Earths. If the Earth were the size of a grape, Saturn would be the size of a basketball. But here's the crazy part. Despite being that massive, Saturn is the lightest planet in the solar system relative to its size. Its density is so low, lower than water, that if you could find a bathtub big enough, Saturn would float. It's made almost entirely of gas, hydrogen and helium, the same stuff the Sun is made of. In fact, if Saturn were just about 80 times more massive, it would have ignited nuclear fusion and become a second star in our solar system. We would live in a binary star system. Earth might not even exist. We got lucky. Very, very lucky. If you think a hurricane on Earth is bad, a Category 5 storm with 180 mph winds, wait until you hear about Saturn's weather. Saturn has the fastest winds in the solar system after Neptune. Wind speeds near the equator can hit 1,100 miles per hour. The fastest commercial jet on Earth flies at about 600 mph. Saturn's winds would snap it in half instantly. But that's not even the strangest part. At Saturn's North Pole, there is a storm, a permanent, never-ending hurricane shaped exactly like a hexagon. A six-sided geometric storm. Each side of this hexagon is longer than the diameter of the entire Earth. The whole structure is about 20,000 miles across. And it has been spinning in place, perfectly geometric, for as long as we've been able to observe it, which is at least since the 1980s. Scientists have tried to recreate it in labs. They've spun tanks of water at different speeds. They can create hexagon shapes in rotating fluids, but why Saturn's specific jet stream holds this shape so precisely and so permanently is still not fully understood. Nature made a hexagon on another planet, the size of Earth, and it just stays there. Meanwhile, at the South Pole, there's a completely different storm, a massive swirling vortex with an eye similar to a hurricane about 5,000 miles wide. Earth's largest hurricane eye is maybe 25 miles wide. Saturn's is 5,000. The inside of Saturn itself is thought to be incredibly violent, crushing pressures that squeeze hydrogen into a metallic liquid state that conducts electricity, creating Saturn's powerful magnetic field. Deeper still, there may be a rocky or icy core. We're not sure. We've never been there, and we never will be. When Galileo first pointed his telescope at Saturn in 1610, he had no idea what he was looking at. He described it as having ears. He thought there were two round objects on either side of it. It wasn't until 1655 that Dutch astronomer Christian Huygens figured it out. Saturn was surrounded by a ring. And now, 370 years later, those rings are still one of the most debated and mysterious structures in all of science. Here's what we know. Saturn's rings are made mostly of ice particles and rocky debris, ranging in size from tiny grains to chunks as large as a house. They stretch out nearly 175,000 miles from the planet's center. That's almost the distance from the Earth to the Moon. But here's what blows people's minds. Those rings, despite being that wide, are only about 30 feet thick on average in some areas. 30 feet. That's the height of a 3-story building. Imagine a sheet of paper. Now make it wide enough to stretch across a continent. That's the proportional thickness of Saturn's rings. Now here's where it gets urgent and a little sad. The rings are disappearing. Saturn's gravity is slowly pulling the ring particles inward. They rain down onto the planet as a fine, icy mist. Scientists call it ring rain. NASA estimates that the rings are losing material at a rate equivalent to an Olympic swimming pool every half hour. At this rate, the rings will be completely gone in about 100 million years. 100 million years sounds like forever. But in cosmic time, that's nothing. The rings themselves may only be about 100 to 400 million years old, meaning they formed after the dinosaurs already existed on Earth. Saturn spent most of its life without rings. We just happen to live at the exact moment in cosmic history when Saturn has them. And we're watching them slowly disappear. If that doesn't make you feel something, I don't know what will. Saturn doesn't just have one moon. It has 146 confirmed moons, the most of any planet in the solar system. And two of them might be the most important places in the entire solar system. Titan, the moon with weather. Titan is Saturn's largest moon and one of the strangest places in the known universe. It's bigger than the planet Mercury. It has a thick atmosphere, the only moon in the solar system that does. And that atmosphere is mostly nitrogen, just like Earth's. But instead of water, Titan has liquid methane. There are methane lakes, methane rivers, methane rain, methane clouds, an entire water cycle, but with methane instead of water, at temperatures around negative 290 degrees Fahrenheit. In 2005, the Huygens probe landed on Titan, the most distant landing ever made by a human spacecraft at the time. As it descended through the orange haze, it sent back images. And scientists saw something that made them gasp. The terrain looked shockingly like Earth. Riverbeds, shorelines, plains, hills. It looks like Earth but run through a nightmare filter. NASA is currently building a mission called Dragonfly, a rotorcraft drone that will fly through Titan's atmosphere and land in multiple locations starting around 2034. We are going back, and what we find there could rewrite everything. Enceladus, the moon that may have life if Titan is fascinating. Enceladus is urgent. Enceladus is a small moon, only about 300 miles across. It should be a frozen, dead rock. But it's not. Beneath its icy surface is a liquid ocean of saltwater. And from cracks at the South Pole called tiger stripes, that ocean shoots massive geysers of water vapor, ice particles, and organic molecules hundreds of miles into space. The Cassini spacecraft flew through those geysers and detected hydrogen, carbon dioxide, methane, and complex organic compounds. These are the exact same ingredients that scientists believe gave rise to life on Earth. There is a warm, liquid ocean beneath the ice of Enceladus, with chemical energy sources and organic molecules. If those conditions exist, by everything we understand about how life begins, life could be there right now. Not ancient life, not fossil life, life right now, swimming beneath the ice of a moon orbiting Saturn. We haven't confirmed it, but we haven't ruled it out. And the scientific community is increasingly treating Enceladus as one of the top priorities in the search for extraterrestrial life. Reaching Saturn is not easy. It takes years just to get there. The first spacecraft to fly by Saturn was Pioneer 11 in 1979, a tiny probe launched in 1973 that took 6 years just to arrive. It gave us our first close-up look at the rings. Then came Voyager 1 and 2 in 1980 and 1981, two of the greatest spacecraft ever built. They revealed the complexity of the rings, discovered new moons, and sent back images that shocked the world. But the crown jewel of Saturn exploration was Cassini. Cassini launched in 1997, arrived at Saturn in 2004, and spent 13 years orbiting the planet, making discoveries that will fill textbooks for generations. It discovered the geysers of Enceladus. It mapped Titan. It revealed the intricate structure of the rings. It sent back over 450,000 images. And then, in September 2017, mission controllers at NASA did something remarkable and heartbreaking. They deliberately flew Cassini into Saturn's atmosphere. Why? Because they were running out of fuel. And they didn't want an out-of-control spacecraft to accidentally crash into Enceladus or Titan and contaminate those worlds with Earth microbes, potentially destroying the very life we might one day try to find. So they sent Cassini to its death, burning up in Saturn's clouds, still transmitting data until the very end. Its final images were sent back just hours before it was gone. NASA scientists wept openly in mission control because Cassini wasn't just a spacecraft. It was 13 years of their lives. And it taught humanity more about Saturn than the previous 400 years of looking at it through telescopes. Here's the thing about Saturn that I want you to walk away with. Saturn is not just a pretty planet in a textbook. It is a reminder of how extraordinary and how strange our universe actually is. A planet where it rains diamonds because of the pressure that converts carbon into diamond crystals in the atmosphere. Yes, scientists believe it literally rains diamonds inside Saturn. A planet with a perfectly geometric storm the size of Earth that nobody can explain. A planet whose rings, the most beautiful structure in our solar system, are disappearing, and we happen to be alive at the exact sliver of cosmic time when they exist. A planet with a moon that may harbor life right now, in a liquid ocean hidden under miles of ice. We live in a solar system that is incomprehensibly weird, beautiful, violent, and full of mystery. And Saturn sits there 886 million miles away, glowing gold, ringed in ice, full of storms and secrets, reminding us that we have barely scratched the surface of understanding where we live. The universe is not boring. We just haven't been paying attention. That's Saturn, the ringed giant, the lord of the outer solar system, one of the most mind-bending places in existence. If this blew your mind, share it with someone who thinks space is boring. They need this. Drop a comment what fact hit you the hardest. Was it the hexagon storm, the disappearing rings, or the ocean on Enceladus that might have life in it right now? Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to know more about your world.